All right. Welcome, welcome. We will get started shortly. I see people are connecting, but welcome to Transfer Talks. All right. I see the numbers are connecting. So we'll go ahead and get started. So hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to STEP, the Summer Transfer Enrichment Program. All right. So if this is your first time at STEP, welcome. And then if you're a STEP participant regular, welcome back. So just to kind of give you a heads up, today we are going to be talking about transportation and parking. But ahead, we still have a couple of more STEP sessions. We have this Friday, research topics, lab areas, faculty, and more. So if you're interested in research, highly recommend joining us this Friday. Next Wednesday, we have transfer talks where you get to meet the transfer hub staff. And then we also have another session on how to outreach to faculty for research opportunities. So while STEP is kind of at the tail end, we still have a couple of more sessions to go. So transfer talks. So today we're going to be having a transfer talk. So what to expect? These are virtual workshops offered throughout the summer. And again, we're coming to the end of transfer talks, but we still have a couple more. And workshops topics have included parking, like today, how to pay your bills, health services, and all that good stuff. If you missed a couple of those topics, they are recorded and they are on our website. And something to note about transfer talks is that this Zoom webinar is a different format than a regular Zoom. So you participants, we cannot see you, but if you have questions throughout presentations, you can utilize the Q&A feature, and myself and the panelists will try our best to answer those questions on the Q&A feature. But usually we have enough time at the very end, about 5 or 10 minutes at the very end, to answer any questions live as well. So that is how we will go. Transfers Connect. So we do have one Transfers Connect coming up on September 4th. This is in person. You get to meet peers. They're in person and virtual, but you get to meet peers with shared identities. We've had one on military connected students, first gen and undocumented students, and these are open to incoming transfer students. So we do have one more coming up. So if you want to get connected with peers and have more interaction, definitely recommend tuning into our Transfers Connect. Research and involvement talks. So I talked a little bit about how we have some upcoming research webinars. So I'm the research and involvement coordinator, and so at the Triton Transfer Hub, and I connect transfer students to research opportunities on campus and other ways to get involved. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please feel free to look into our new admits page and STEP page. I have some recorded webinar sessions, but I still have 2 more if you're interested in learning about research. So today's topic is getting to and around UCSD. So we have some great folks here that are joining us and that will be talking about parking and transportation, 2 very big hot topics for our incoming transfer students. And I'll go ahead and introduce Jose Perez, who will be sharing about transportation. So Jose, feel free to take it away whenever you're ready.
Sure. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. I'm Jose Perez. I'm the Director of Transit for UC San Diego. I oversee our fixed route buses, shuttle services on campus, as well as our electric cart service, which I'll get into, as well as serve as a liaison between the university and regional transit options, including MTS, who runs the trolley and the red buses on campus, and NCTD, or North County Transit District, which operates bus service from the North County, as well as connections from the coaster rail system. So also with me today is my operations manager, Nick Tite. I'll let him chat a little bit about himself.
Hi guys, I'm Nick Tite. I'm the operation manager for Triton Transit, and I will present you guys the service levels for fall 2024.
And just as a little bit of brief background, I was an undergrad at UC San Diego, class of 05. I drove shuttle buses. It's been around since way before then. Been in the public transit industry for about 15 years now, both public and private sectors. And Nick, if you want to talk a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I'm here with the university 8 years, and I'm in the transportation business, I would say, like over 20 years.
Great. And so we're going to give a general, fairly quick overview of the services that we offer, as well as take your questions if things pop up with respect to transportation, transit, and moving in and around the campus. So, Nick, I'll let you.
All right, guys.
Oh, let me start the share as well. So you can see our screen here. All right, you guys should be able to see that slide.
All right, guys. As you guys know, during summer, we have a reduced schedule. Right now, I will present the schedule for starting fall 2024. Service overview for fixed routes on and off campus. We're going to have service for 7 days a week. The routes, they're going to connect the trolley and the regional buses. Also, we will offer Triton mobility services, which they will be eligibility based. Then it's not going to be an open service for everybody. They will need to be eligible with the OSD or with the DCC. It will be a service point to point, share ride service, and we will offer also on demand, open to public at fixed route stops, which will supplement fixed route services, which means that if, let's say, we will not have a bus between 10 p.m. and midnight, but we are still open, we will have the on-demand service, which will help out everybody. It's going to be open for public, not just for eligibility based.
Yeah. And we can go into a little bit more detail about what we mean by eligibility based. We don't exclude folks, but we work with partners on campus to determine those that need that little extra mobility access or assistance. And if you're interested in those kinds of options or services, we'd be more than happy to follow up with you individually. But you can see, if you go back one quick minute, those buses and carts are representative of the vehicles that we operate on campus. If you see these buses on there that are blue and blue or blue and yellow, it says every great adventure starts somewhere. Those are our buses. Those are your buses, and they are free. So you don't have to have your ID or show anything or pay any fares. Completely free. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about what the services are and where they go.
Also, they are free for the public too. Then if you have family members with you, feel free to have them on the bus. They're going to have a free ride. All right, this is a fixed route service summary for fall 2024. Weekdays, we will have service starting at 6:30 a.m. until 10 p.m. Frequencies below during peak times, approximately from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Our Health Campus Connector will be a 15-minute loop. Health Campus Connector serves the hospital area, Jacob Thornton, and has a connection to the trolley station. Inside loop is going to be a 15-minute loop or better. Outside loop will be a 15-minute loop or better. Mesa will be 10-minute loop. Then we will have 3 mesas. Every 10 minutes, we'll have a mesa running. The Regents Express will be a 10-minute or better. Scripps Institution SIO will be a 15-minute loop. During the weekend, we will have a reduced service hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And also reduced routes is going to be grocery shuttles, convoy 30-minute loop, and inside loop will be a 15-minute loop, and SIO 30-minute loop. Also, real-time tracking is available through the UCSD map with our Transloc app. Then you can live track our buses. It's very useful. You can see exactly where's the bus, what's the estimated time if you're in a certain stop.
And don't be put off by the names that we're throwing at you. You guys will be Tritons and everything, mind and body soon enough. But we'd be more than happy to kind of go over into details about what we mean when we say inside loop and outside loop, or those traveled specific stops if you want to ask those questions. Really what we want to impart on is that we are doing our best to give at least 15-minute service during peak times throughout the year. So that you don't really have to sit there and think about, well, when's the next bus coming? You know that it's going to be there in about 15 minutes, on some services even faster, to help you get to where you need to go. Some things that might be of a special note: our Regents bus is the one that serves our East Campus. Discount parking lots that are further out generally have a little bit more availability. straight to the central campus trolley station. So great connection if you're commuting in or looking for places to tell people where to park, so that they're not looking for that one empty space in the middle of campus. You can save yourself some heartache and headache. Park out in some of our discount lots, and we do have bus service that'll bring you right into campus.
Also, outside loop, to bring more clarity, it's a counterclockwise loop. Inside loop, it's a clockwise loop. And starting fall, Mesa loop will be a little bit different. It will be just a clockwise loop, which will also serve the extended study building.
Yep.
And will not go anymore to Gilman and Mandeville. Will serve the Gilman Transit Hub. Then we will we put a message on Translate. We will inform everybody, and you will be able to see the new route for Mesa.
And these links, we'll make the slides available after the presentation for distribution, but these links are also live. You'll be able to, if you get a copy of our slides, be able to click on them and go to those, the dedicated app or the map.
Fixed route updates. Then inside loop, which we said it's the clockwise loop. We will move Warden Stop to Atkinson Hall. Returning to Scholar Drive South, we will come off North Torrey Pines Road. Then Scholars Drive will be open, I think, starting this Monday.
As early as, yeah.
As early as. Then for fall, we are planning to serve again Scholars Drive South. We will add a stop at 8 College at La Jolla Playhouse. For outside loop, we will move the Warren stop to Franklin Antonio Hall. We have a designated bus stop there, cut out. We will return to Scholars Drive South off North Torrey Pines Road. And we will move a 7th College stop south across from a new crosswalk, which will be built. For Mesa, we will have a new loop route. We will remove the conflict zone congested areas like Mandeville Loop, parking lots. Before we had a U-turn in parking lots at Mesa, and also we use the Mandeville Loop. Right now, we are trying to get out from those parking lots for safety reasons. We're going to pilot next week. We're going to add the Mesa. We're going to add the Central Mesa stop, the UCSD extension, and the Biomedical Library stop. Then we are trying to pilot the new route during the summer, and also trying to get feedback from our passengers. For SIO, we are adding the new UCSD extension stop, the new Scholars Drive South, and we will remove the stop from La Jolla Shores, which goes towards the beach corner with Iniaja Lane. Then that stop is going to move on Scholars back. Also for Triton Mobility, for our Triton Mobility service, which is eligibility-based, an ADA and mobility service. We are partnering with OSD and DCC for eligibility. Then any questions, any eligibility questions you guys have should be directed straight to the OSD office or the DCC office.
And to clarify, OSD is the Office for Students with Disabilities. And DCC is for faculty and staff. It's disabilities, counseling, and coaching, I believe. So if you're an incoming student to the university, you have the opportunity to familiarize yourself with that Office for Students with Disabilities. They'll interview you, work with you to see if there's mobility access or other accommodations that could help you be successful at the university. That's who we partner with, to just say, yes, this person is eligible to use the point-to-point service. If you look on the screen, there's dozens of stops on campus that we serve where a bus or a car can't fit. We have electric carts that can get you there to the front of a lecture hall, to the Starbucks on campus, to REMAC if you want to go and exercise, wherever you'd like to go. As long as you're eligible and you make your reservation through our app, we'll take you where you need to go.
Also, if you need more guidance, just feel free to go on our website, Triton Transit on Blink, or just feel free to call our fixed number, our dispatch number. We're answering the phone from 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight, and we will guide you toward the correct website. Also, search for Triton Mobility on the Google App Store. Then you can download the app on your phone, and through the app, you guys can request rides. This is a new app. We just started it this quarter. Also, we have the on-demand service. which will be from 10 to midnight when our fixed routes, they're not working. It's a limited supplemental late evening service from a bus stop open to public. It means it's not like an Uber, which is going to take you from door-to-door service. This is a service from bus stop to bus stop. Then we will serve only the campus from bus stop to bus stop. And this service will be available from 10 p.m. when we do not have any more bus service until midnight.
And the example that we try to use generally is during finals week. If you're studying at the library until 11 o'clock midnight, our buses aren't going to be running, but maybe it's a long walk back to your residence hall, and you don't want to do that on your own, or you have to carry a large number of stuff and you just don't feel comfortable doing that. That service is for you. So you'd be able to put in your reservation request or call our dispatcher. And we, again, availability or capacity basis, able to send a car and driver to a bus stop to pick you up and take you to the nearest bus stop to where you want to go. It's better than having to walk from the north end of campus all the way back to 8th College. So,
also for this service, we have an app which will be linked on our website. It's called Spare Labs. Then you guys gonna need to download the Spare Lab apps to be able to request a ride on your phone.
Yeah, it's the same as the eligibility-based service. It's just during those times, those hours, it'll be open to anybody. We also offer limited, what we call special event or charter service. You can rent our buses and drivers. If you are interested in student organizations, student bodies, or work with the department and they're going on a special literal field trip, the university affiliates are able to make a request for our charter service. We have specific rates. So this is just more FYI for you folks, especially as coming in. But if you are aware of any kind of transportation need for you and your school group or affiliate group, we do have this as an option and we may be able to assist. Our contact information at the end of the presentation would be, you guys can let us know and we go from there. Other transportation on campus, there's a pretty extensive partner network. San Diego MTS is the big bus operator here in San Diego. They operate the following fixed routes on campus. They're listed on the screen. The routes in red, 201, 202, 237, are express routes. Those, they offer very frequent buses. They come at probably every 5 minutes during the peak into the middle of campus, come in, drop off to off-campus locations, usually like apartments, condos, things like that, multifamily dwellings, but also to pretty much anywhere in the county. They also offer or run the trolley service. So on campus, we have 3 trolley stations that are nearby: the UC San Diego Central Campus, VA Medical Center, and the UC San Diego Health La Jolla trolley stations. We have bus service to 2 of those. The VA, we don't have direct service, but we have buses that are probably half a block away from that trolley station. And really what that means for you is you're able to go directly from campus to as far as the border, right, into Mexico if you like. And we've timed our routes to be available about the same frequency as trolleys. So the trolleys come to campus roughly every 15 minutes. That's why we have our loop buses timed to be about every 15 minutes as well. We don't time them exactly with the trolley, but the connections are there. Our buses are just as frequent as they are, to make sure that if you're getting off at the trolley station from down south, that you're able to get then to class on time with the help of one of our buses. There's that link there as well to San Diego MTS for current info. Just wanted to mention that as it stands right now, we also have everyone who pays their student fees is eligible to ride San Diego MTS buses at no additional cost. So that's a UPass program. It is included again as part of your enrollment fees. You're able to ride on those San Diego MTS buses on the trolley and get in and around San Diego just by showing by using your Pronto Pass, and you're able to sign that up and register for that online through the university's websites as well. And on the northern end of the county is North County Transportation or Transit District, NCTD. They also offer a couple of bus routes that serve the campus directly, primarily the 101, but they also just launched a service called the Flex 479. And they also operate the rail, passenger rails for Coaster in and out of Sorrento Valley, which is the nearest rail station, kind of heavy passenger rail station. You can also ride the 101 on that service as well. not the new flex routes or coaster connections, but there's a number of different options in and around the nearby university area that you can ride NCTD on. That being said, our main webpage is tritontransit.ucsd.edu. And then, as Nick mentioned, our customer service and dispatch line and email are monitored during all of our operating hours. So generally during the academic year from as early as 6:30 in the morning to as late as midnight. So if you have questions or comments, concerns, you're more than welcome to contact us, and we do our best to get back to folks as quickly as we can. So again, I'll scan any questions that might have come in through the chat, but Al and I will also stick around in case there's any questions that come up at the end of the presentation. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'll pass it back to Elizabeth.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jose. Thank you so much for talking to us. So yeah, just to reiterate, there are shuttles for students that are free for students. So those areas of campus that Jose and Nick went over, definitely a resource for students to kind of get around campus. So thank you so much. So now I will pass it over to Megan Duffy.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Megan. I am also an alumni here. So I was a transfer student. I graduated in 2023. So about to go into the second academic year where I haven't been a student. I worked in parking for quite a bit. So I'm here to kind of cover the rest of the whole transportation piece here. How to park on campus, how to get around campus a little bit more, and other stuff like that as well. Jose and Nick, when you have a moment, please, would you mind stopping the sharing of your screen? Once we've given enough time for the email and the... Awesome. Thank you so much. Alrighty, everybody. Alrighty. Okay, so here we have our parking and transportation information. We're going to split this into 3 different sections: getting to campus, getting around campus on anything that's not Triton Transit, as well as getting around San Diego outside of the transit options, whether it be the grocery shuttle from Triton Transit or the U-Pass. We're going to cover everything else. So getting to campus. So we do have the trolley. This is another brief thing of the stops here. We do anticipate the fall U-Pass becoming live starting September 23rd. That is the first day you would see it. If you have any access issues at all, please email parking@ucsd.edu. Otherwise, if anybody's on campus now, if you've registered for classes already, you can pay for the summer U-Pass. That will be live from the moment you purchase it through to September 30th. That is an $81 fee solely because transit for the summer is not included in your tuition and fees. So if you do want it, go ahead and purchase that on the parking portal and we can help you out with that. We already went over a lot of this information, but here's how to use transit. There are a few routes we do not cover. The rapid buses are really the main things that we do not cover. So you're more than welcome to reach out to the parking office if you do need a ride that route. We're happy to provide you with guidance there. Also, we are under the impression that the student transportation fee referendum is coming up this year. This is a decision that was made years ago through a student vote to include the U-Pass in tuition fees. So I just want to keep it on people's radars. If y'all are seeing it for a Senate vote, you may want to pay attention because that'll decide whether transit's included in your tuition and fees moving forward. That is a student vote. But moving past public transit, again, there's a bunch of FAQs on our website. If you need any help, please don't email us with just pronto help. We get a lot of emails like that, and we would love to fully assist you. So just provide us with a little more context, and we're happy to help you with anything pronto related. Now moving on to parking. So generally an overview, only upperclassmen commuters are able to purchase S permits. Generally speaking, if you are coming on as a resident, we do not recommend bringing your car until you apply for the undergraduate exception request and are approved. Because if you are denied, you will be, your only parking options will be on the outskirts of campus. It'll be a daily D as a discount permit. Additionally, if any of you are coming in with lower classmen standing and are a commuter, you would need to apply for the exception request for eligibility. However, if anybody has a disability or any medical accommodations, ADA placard allows parking in most spaces. If you have a valid ADA placard in your name, there's a place on our webpage there, and I believe these slides may be shared after the presentation that you can refer to. But if you don't have a placard and you're considering applying for the exception committee and you're applying for a medical accommodation, please work with OSD. Even if you apply through parking, we're going to direct you back to OSD because all medical accommodations are going through there. They will work with us to grant the appropriate level of parking access for anyone with an approved accommodation. As far as parking goes, here's really the difference between S and SR permits. So S permits are commuters only. As such, it's a daily permit. They're only sold in 1-day increments, and they are $6 a day. So they can be purchased on the Park mobile app using that zone code with your UCSD email or on the parking portal. Both are eligible options. The only benefit to purchasing things through the parking portal is you can purchase them ahead of time, choose the date you want them to be valid for, so you could purchase multiple permits at one time and not have an issue there. Here's the thing though, and here's where I hear a lot of students calling in with respect to citations. Unless you have an SR permit, you cannot park in an SR space, even if you are a resident, even if you've been approved for the exception. If you park in that type of space, you will most likely receive a citation. So please do not park in an SR space with an S permit or with anything other than an SR permit, or you may receive a citation. As far as SR permits go, these are for on-campus residents only with that exception. So as a resident, you're inherently applying for access to the student resident permit. And as a commuter, you're inherently applying for access to the daily S permit. So the SR permit is a consecutive day permit, minimum of 30 days, max of 365 days. What I personally did as a student and recommend to anybody who is approved for the exception is just purchasing a permit for the whole quarter through finals week. That way you don't need to think about it at all for the rest of the quarter. That does cost-wise break down to $465 a day, again with that 30-day minimum. And you can only purchase these things through the parking portal. But once you apply for the exception, if you are approved, our team will send you an email with instructions on everything you need to know about purchasing a permit and where to park with any of these permits. So those are generally the permits. However, anybody can always purchase a D as in discount permit as well. So that is one of the cheaper permits. However, you are paying for the type of space you're parking in. So I don't know if we can see I don't think we can see my cursor in this presentation. Let me see here. All right.
I can. Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Elizabeth. So those D as in discount permits, those spaces are going to be over here in this dirt lot called Glider Port, or over here in these three lots over here, 703, 704, and 705. As Nick and Jose said, there is a shuttle from these discount lots, specifically the Regions lots, and it goes to the Central Campus trolley stop. So even though these look pretty far out, they're really not. Even if you were to walk it, I walked all the time from here to Pepper Canyon and it was 20 minutes. There is not a shuttle that directly connects this specific discount lot over here though. So these permits are $5 a day, and because you can purchase them in advance in the parking portal, if you were denied for the exception request, or you just say, I don't want to apply, you can purchase discount permits and you can basically set them up as a consecutive day permit. The cost difference on a monthly basis is only about $10 between the SR and the D permit. I do want to highlight one thing about this lot over here. This lot is a lot that is co-managed by San Diego City. So this lot has specific hours. Depending on the time of year, it closes at 6 p.m. or at 8 p.m. So this is really the only lot on campus that does not allow overnight parking. So please don't leave your car here after that time. You will get a citation. If you want to park overnight with the D as in discount permit, we would recommend staying over here. And then the cheapest option we have is a Super Saver permit, but you can only ever park in two lots. That would be P782 over here or P386 over here. The D as in discount permits, as we get closer to the nighttime and on weekends, you can park more centrally on campus, but the Super Saver permits, you're paying for the cheapest permits, so you can only park in those two lots. All Alrighty, awesome. The other thing we would recommend potentially looking into for parking is carpool. So these are for folks that do not live on campus, that are looking to come onto campus, but everybody does have to have S permit eligibility. So only upperclassmen commuters inherently have that. If you're trying to apply with lowerclassmen commuters, they will have to get the exception first. But it would give everyone the ability to purchase S permits, specifically S plus 2 or 3 person carpool permits that allow specifically designated carpool spaces where nobody else can park in those spaces. There's also some incentives cost-wise for using that. You can earn points for alternate methods of transit. Also with Triton Commuter Club, we have several programs that are really helpful for people that are commuting in and around campus. So on Triton Commuter Club, you can log your commutes for rewards. I personally carpool almost every day to work and get parking incentives that way, where I'm very rarely paying full price for a permit when it's my day to drive, solely based on how much I carpool. We also have discounted programs for a U-lock as well as a helmet. We highly recommend that if anybody's biking or scootering on campus. Both of those things are really important. And there is also rider rewards. It is a sticker. I don't have it on my water bottle anymore, but it's a sticker that goes on your water bottle for some rewards as well. The other thing we would recommend as far as getting to campus goes is utilizing this resource for parking availability. So this is on our webpage. If you just click on this graphic right there, this is a banner that goes across the screen. But our surveys team does counts the first 2 weeks of every quarter, and they count how many open spaces there are at certain times of day. So if you look at this data later in the quarter, it may tell you, oh, hey, this structure fills up really early, well before I'm coming to campus. Instead of wasting my time driving to that structure for really low probability, maybe it's worth trying this lot instead that I know will be open. So that is parking and getting to campus. As far as getting around campus goes, obviously Triton Transit is a fantastic resource. I liked walking a lot on campus, but I definitely utilized that a lot when it was raining. Very, very helpful. But we do have micromobility. So we do have some shared scooters and bikes with Spin. You would need to download the Spin app on there. Also, if you bring your own scooter or bike, we do recommend registering your ride. This is really helpful because it's registered with UCPD. So on the off chance that it is ever stolen, you already have it logged, just like you'd have a license plate and record of your car. That way you can have record of your ride. There is also an on-campus bike and skate shop. The staff there is super friendly and super knowledgeable, and they can help you with anything from bike chains to what's the best helmet to, you can even buy a bike there as well. Additionally, we do have some waypoints throughout campus. You'll see these little kiosks throughout campus. They connect with our digital maps website that's called maps.ucsd.edu. You're able to look up where specific buildings are. I found this helpful when planning my classes so I'd know where the actual classrooms were, as well as you can look up different parking lots, what types of parking there are. And there's a lot of cool features you can overlay, also including all of the Triton Transit stops. Additionally, if you are coming onto campus, all of campus academically has the same mailing address, 9500 Gilman. If you are a resident, every on-campus resident has the same address, 9450 Gilman. So if you're trying to go somewhere around campus, please know the building name or something else other than the street address, because the street address will not help you. And PSA, if you are getting something mailed, make sure you write down your mailing code correctly, because otherwise it's going to get lost. There's a lot of people that live on campus. We do also have some short-term parking options. These do not require the exception at all. Anybody in any vehicle can do either of these two things. So we do have loading and unloading zones. These are typically 20 minutes, although they are always signed on the ground. There's no permit required here, and we would recommend this for really short-term tasks, picking up a friend, grabbing something from your apartment, etc., because they really are 20-minute loading zones. But you don't have to stay with the vehicle. You can just park and go in and do what you need to do. Visitor parking. Visitor parking is free for the first 30 minutes, and then it is $4.50 an hour. However, it does max out at $36 per day. Some students really like doing this just to park closer to their classes. I personally rarely justified the cost, but you're more than welcome to do so. Just know whenever you are parking, you need a permit or the car could be cited. So when you do, even if you're parking for 30 minutes with visitor parking, it'll say it's free. Please continue. Please actually purchase the permit so that you have a valid permit and you don't receive a citation. However, if anybody ever receives a citation, please just appeal it online. The worst case answer you get is you still have to pay the same amount and you have more time to pay. But the best case answer is, hey, maybe some money was taken off, or maybe the whole dollar amount was taken off, so you don't need to pay anything. Alrighty, and then just one more slide here, getting around San Diego. So aside from all of the great Triton Transit stuff that goes through San Diego, as well as all of the UPass access stuff, which would be buses and trolleys operated by MTS or Pronto, we also have FlixBus. So this is a bus that looks just like the one in that photo, and it just connects through San Diego. So this is really helpful. I personally use this for going home on break because it was a lot cheaper than gas. For me to go from here to Santa Barbara County, it was around 20 bucks. And that was really reasonable for me. But it can also connect you to San Diego if you'd like to as well. There are stops at Old Town, Balboa Park, and SDSU. So you could park your car on campus and then take the FlixBus to wherever you need to go. But just know that is not something that UCSD specifically offers. So if you have any specific questions, you should really direct them to FlixBus directly. And then thank you all so much. We are here for any questions you need at all. Our team specifically, we're the parking and commuter services team. We specifically handle everything parking related, everything citation related if you receive a citation, and everything transit related. I do have one comment before I look at the questions briefly, and specifically for the undergraduate exception request. The earlier you apply to the undergraduate exception request, the better, because the committee is delivering decisions on a first-come basis. Right now, they're currently finishing up the last of the decisions for people that applied in July. The sooner you apply, the sooner you hear back. And the goal always is to make sure you get a decision back as quickly as possible. So the last week to apply is week 1. So during week 1, our office is delivering decisions just about every day. So you can make the best decision for you as quick as possible. But if you're applying now or have already applied, you can expect a decision by the end of summer session 2. Alrighty, I'm gonna address most of these questions here. So we have a question from a transfer student moving into Pepper Canyon West, and how do they buy a parking permit? So every student resident is inherently only eligible for daily 1-day discount permits. So if you would like access to an SR permit, you would need to apply for the undergraduate exception, which is found on the webpage. Another person's asking how to find the SR permit because they can't find it. Nobody should be able to find it right now, except for the few people that have already been approved for the exception. This is not something that anybody inherently has access to. You do need to apply with a valid reason. There are examples on our webpage, but you do need to substantiate every reason that you're providing for the best chance at getting approved. I have somebody else asking if they plan to come to campus prior to classes starting. Is it okay to park in an S spot and pay the day pass at a kiosk? So the answer to that question is no. Each permit has each space has a specific type of permit that accompanies it. So the permits you can purchase from a physical pay station are pretty much always going to be visitor permits, which are only eligible in visitor spaces. To park in an S space, you would need an S permit, which you can find on your parking portal if you already have access. If not, you would need to apply for the exception request. I have somebody else asking if they need to register their bike in order to be able to chain around campus. You most definitely do not need to register your bike. We just highly recommend it, but you don't need to register your bike. The only thing that I 100% recommend is getting a U-lock. Do not get a normal lock that does not secure the frame. Secure the frame to the bike locks. It is very important. If you walk around campus, occasionally you do see a random wheel that is still locked. Please lock your frame, please. Moving on, I think almost all of these questions are parking questions, but Jose, if there's anything transit, I'll defer to you. The undergraduate exception pass is specifically for parking. So if you are an upperclassman commuter, you don't need to worry about it because you already have access to the highest level of parking you can. However, if you are a student resident, you would need to apply for a student resident parking permit. And if you are a lower classman commuter, you would need to apply for an S permit. If you don't have a car or don't want to park your car on campus, you don't need to apply for the exception request. And if you're really going to be relying on transit only, you don't need it either. But if you're trying to park your car as close as you can, you would want to apply for the undergrad parking exception request. As an incoming student with a pre-existing Pronto card, how do they go about getting the free fare? We will need you to get in touch with the parking office just so we know what your card number is. But go ahead and call the phone number on the screen here, and our team can assist you with that. Is there a recommended transit station near UCSD where they can park for free and bus or train to UCSD? So there is and there isn't. So there.
I don't know. Sorry, Megan. Looks like Elizabeth asked to answer the question.
I'm just like checking off the questions as Megan is going.
Oh,
so
I saw
no,
that
no,
no. Okay, got it. Sorry to interrupt, Megan.
No, you're all good. So I don't know what's happening with my screen here and why it went black. So I'm just gonna stop the screen share here. But there is a transit station near UCSD. It is in the same center as the Trader Joe's and the Ralph's. Chipotle is over there as well. However, it is a giant, like 4, 5, 6-story structure. However, there are only 2 levels that say transit on it. You can park in one of those transit spaces and take the trolley into campus, but please don't park in a retail space and just leave your car because Nobel Drive, they may tow your car from parking there if you're not parking in a transit space. And generally speaking, if you look at the resource maps.ucsd.edu, anything in color is going to be UCSD property and therefore a permit's required. So if it's clearly in grayscale, you can park anywhere there. I know there are some transit stations a little bit farther away from campus that you can take the trolley in. As long as it's in that gray area, you're free to park there and you don't need a UCSD permit. Jose, most of these questions are not transit. I will try to get through these as quickly as I can, but
so I did that scuba question.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand how bulky sometimes the equipment can be. And it's a trade-off, right, between convenience and access. But we do have our SIO route, which goes right to the beach, depending on where you want to access it. That comes if 7 days a week at the least frequent every 30 minutes, connecting main campus to, again, basically right at the beach. We call it the SIO Forum, which is right there. And so that's always an option to you. Beyond that, there are some very limited open to the public parking spaces down there in that area. And again, it's San Diego. You're going to be parking with everybody else from the county who wants to go to our amazing beaches whenever you want to go. So it could be an option to you to hike a little bit, but you're welcome to bring your equipment on board as long as it's not hazardous or dangerous. And you're not, literally dripping wet to make the seats uncomfortable for somebody else. But you can access the beach with your stuff on a daily basis.
Thank you so much, Jose. The other option would be you could apply for a parking permit, but SIO is the closest beach access, and that is something SIO approves themselves. So you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get your car close on campus. You would be trying to drive somewhere else if you were trying to drive a car as close to the beach as you could.
And those SIO permits, I understand, are very limited and focus on research personnel and staff. So student-oriented, they're eligible, but they kind of prioritize those that are down there to do educational, academic stuff versus recreational.
Thank you, Jose. That's really good to know. So I have some questions about, is there a transportation portal? So we do have a portal, but you can also access it through the transportation webpage. So I am responding right now to that with the steps to go there. You would go to transportation.ucsd.edu and then to my accounts and then to parking account. And then you'd log in with your single sign-on from there. We have a question about how do we do with scooters around campus. I'm not exactly sure what this question is asking, but scooters are allowed on campus. If you bring your own scooter, please park it next to a bike rack and please use a U-lock to secure it. If you are using a spin scooter, those would have, everything's explained within the app. There's specific areas where you can start and end your rides. And all of that is in the app there. If there's anything else, please send that question again.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I don't know if it's a in place enforced policy now or if it's coming up, but be aware that if you have your own mobility device and scooter and you intend to charge it inside a residence hall or a dorm, it must be registered and it must be UL certified. Because that's a safety code, which is something that we're not going to be able to go around. And again, it's going to be enforced possibly by RAs or others. Again, the intent behind that is the devices being charged, they're fairly large batteries. We're trying to minimize any kind of risk of overcharging or any kind of like damage from, let's call it out there, battery fires or the like. So if you can and you're comfortable with that, you lock up your scooter outside. It's probably a safer bet. But again, there's going to be enforcement around equipment like that being inside dorms and residence halls.
Thank you so much for all that information, Jose. I have one question about how far Pepper Canyon is from campus. I'm going to share my screen again so we have a map outlining this as well. So the question was can we see my screen anymore?
Yes.
Are we looking at the slideshow?
Yes, the slides.
The slideshow, but
fantastic. Okay, there we go. It's appeared on my screen. Thank you all. So everything in green here is campus. So this is more specifically like the undergraduate campus over here. Everything on the east side of the freeway. This is grad housing over here, as well as this is the medical campus. We do have a hospital right across the street. So Pepper Canyon East is here. Geisel is here. This is about a 10-15 minute walk. Personally, I lived over here in Pepper Canyon East. I had classes all the way up here in Rady. I could do it in 20 minutes without an issue, but I do recognize I'm kind of a fast walker. But my best guidance is looking for the hidden paths when you look at this map, because if you stay corralled on the main like library walk or ridge walk, you'll probably run into a bit of traffic. But if you're walking, there's a path that goes behind the library that'll take you straight up. And then transfer student with a car but doesn't have family to put it with, what do we recommend doing? So this is a question that we've been receiving a lot recently. So inherently you can purchase daily discount permits and park your car out here in those discount lots. You are more than welcome to do that. The only other option would be applying for the SR permit and attaching all relevant proof to substantiate your reasoning. Also, I realized you couldn't see my cursor on the last one. So to be more specific, Pepper Canyon East is here and Geisel is here. And that's about 10-15 minutes. Alrighty, those are all of the questions I am currently seeing in here. Oh, just kidding. There's one more. No, it may be a difficult question, but if you're living on campus, would I recommend leaning more towards having a scooter than a car? Truly, a car will not really benefit you on campus. If your sole use is to use it to get around. There's very few roads that run around campus. There's one real loop that runs here. And it runs around. There's really not many roads that run on the inside of campus. So we're really a walking friendly campus. So if you're just looking to get around campus, I would highly recommend a scooter over a car. I would personally really only recommend keeping a car on campus if you're going to use it often. When I was a transfer student here, I was really accessing my car only once a week. So even though I lived in the center of campus, I paid for a discount permit. I parked my car out there because I was only accessing it once or twice. And I knew I could always rely on the Regions Express shuttle to get out there. And I would rush to get back before 10. And I knew that even if I didn't make it, I could walk. Also, of course, everybody has their own preference, but I do want to share my experience with folks so you're aware. I'm a woman. I'm a very short woman as well. I'm about 5'2". I'm not super menacing as an individual, as y'all can see, but I would walk from the discount lots to Pepper Canyon. I would sometimes come home at night at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It was very rare that I saw somebody. If I did ever see somebody, they would always stay on the exact like farthest side of the path and we'd cross each other as far as possible. So please go with what you feel is comfortable, but I personally feel more than comfortable walking around campus at night. And if you don't, we do have community safety officials that work with UCPD from sunset to sunrise that you can call the number and they will escort you from point A to point B on campus. Somebody's asking if there's specific criteria for applying for an SR permit or can you apply for any reason? So you can apply for any reason at all. There are some specific options you can select, or there's an other option you can select as well. There's a giant text box for you to outline your reasoning, and then there's spaces for you to attach as many things as you'd like. I've even seen up to 10 attachments, so they can be a lot of attachments if you'd like. Just know that you're really applying for why you need access to an SR permit as opposed to a D permit as a resident. And as a commuter, you're applying for why you need access to an S permit as opposed to a D permit. Because you do have access to park on campus, it's just in the exterior areas. So just be sure to attach any proof that can substantiate your reasoning. The parking team can't provide any guidance, can't tell you why you were approved or denied. So all information's on the website. There are examples on the website there of some possible proof to attach if you do need some guidance of figuring out what to attach there. I'm not seeing any more questions. Does anybody else have any other questions they want to send through?
Yeah, you're awesome. Rapid fire at these questions. I know we're 5 minutes out. Don't see any other questions. I know that there's a lot. Yeah. But thank you both for joining, and you both have some great information and knowledge. And I know our incoming transfer students are eager to learn everything there is about getting around. So yeah, I'll be on for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Megan and Jose, if you want to stay on in case we have any like one last question.
Sure.
But other than that, yeah, thank you so much. And that was our presentation today, our transfer talks today.
Thank you all so much. I also want to reiterate too, if you have any questions, our phone number is online, as is our email. If you have any general questions, you can always email parking@ucsd.edu, and we're happy to help with anything.
Yep, same. And we'll make the slides and presentation available to Elizabeth and the STEP team, and I'm sure they're more than happy to distribute that to you guys with our contact info and general information. So.
Yep, absolutely. We are recording, and so this will be available later for anybody who wants to go back and look at any specific slides or just, you know, this Q&A too. All right, and with that, I think I will end the presentation here. Again, thank you so much, both, and yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Welcome, new folks.
Have a great rest of your day. Good luck with the quarter.
All right, bye.